Rocco.
Asante.
Yeah, you've been very instrumental in defending victims of, protests,
Yes.
people who were arrested during those demonstrations and charged with treason.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, it's an experience for us. Many are the times we read about the historical injustices where you are told about things like Wagala massacre, where you are told about the struggle. Some of us were not able to participate in the struggle for the repeal of Section 2A of the Constitution, the retired Constitution, that we now have tales to tell to our grandchildren. I think it's an honor on our part. But to the victims, I know it's been a tough journey. And I'm saying victims because some of them were victims, real victims of the police brutality. But somewhat either to scatter them or to sell fear, as Kenyans would popularly say, they've been charged unnecessarily with anti-terror charges, which unfortunately has been a total waste of public money. You remember there are people who they would take those people in a convoy of Subarus. I mean, a Gen Z. You are taking them to court in Subarus, many Subarus. Yet we have a minister who is occupying the position of the Ministry of Interior, who all of a sudden now seems not to cater in budget for arresting the real criminals. And the person who is complaining is now charged with fueling that vehicle. How those DCIs who were arresting Gen Zs and taking them to court, how they all of a sudden had fuel in abundance.
Yeah.
And now they don't have it.
You seem to have read our minds, because we wanted to ask you about the issue of, the minister, Kipchumba Murkomen, telling Kenyans to, help sort out the fuel bills.
Yes.
Have you been a good citizen? Have you helped fuel police vehicles?
If that is the yardstick for good citizenship, then I think I should be a national from another country. I think the basic requirement for any government is to protect life and property. Forget about development and empowerment programs and all these other things. That's why we pay taxes. Now we have a government that seems to have forgotten its primary role. And now we even have a minister who is saying, please understand these corrupt officers, because I believe there is corruption. That's outright corruption. There is a whole Article 48 of the Constitution that talks about access to justice. One of the hindrances of access to justice is finances. So if you are told to fuel a Range Rover to travel, say, 100 or 200 kilometers to and fro, I mean, that would itself be a hindrance to justice. The minister seems to be stuck in some medieval times, and where justice was for those who could afford. He seems to be completely lost of his job description. If I were him, I would step aside.
Actually, before I seem to cut you short, but let's face it.
Yes.
Well, money has so many names.
Yes.
The money that you go to church and you give it to pastor, you call that money what?
Offering or tithe.
Offering, and there also tithe. Money that you that Brian is paid after the end of after serving and writing stories here, the standard, it's called salary.
Yes.
And sometimes it's called wages.
Yes.
It is the same money that police demand from Kenyans in terms of bribery.
Tea. It's called tea.
Or even tea.
Yes.
Chai.
Now even those people in some of corrupt run offices, they say chai ya wazee. So let's face it.
Yes.
Wakili, have you ever given a bribe to a police officer?
I might end up giving self-incriminating evidence. I don't know whether to exercise my right to remain silent. But I forbear. And for a reason, you cannot afford to sustain practice. For instance, in my practice as a lawyer, you'll interact with policemen so many times. If you keep giving bribes to policemen, that cost is pushed towards the client. these clients sometimes come to you as the last recourse. Some of them currently are even complaining of the bare minimum fees provided by the advocate's remuneration order. It might be completely tenable. And when police know that you give bribes, they will never serve you without you giving that bribe. Yes.
So you're seeing a situation in which a bribery is being mainstreamed in our culture.
Yes. It seems like the minister now need to draft a policy on what amount of fuel one needs to pay and for what offense. Say mwizi wa kuku unapatia fuel ya boda boda. I don't know. It's completely senseless. It doesn't even make sense at all.
Yes, but when our cabinet secretary and the principal secretary for interior and coordination of the national government boldly tells Kenyans to
understand
the police officers and give them fuel, what does it mean to the ordinary Kenyans who flock to the police officers, to the police stations, seeking justice and reporting crimes? What does it mean from where you sit, Wakili?
That our police stations are now crime scenes. That the president, when you saw the president the other day launching a committee to fight corruption, I think it was it was not fight against corruption, it was fight against those who fight corruption. Because if his own minister, who is supposed to even facilitate the interior coordination of the country, literally what we used to call the home affairs, is telling people, look, justice is not for free. You must dig deep into your pocket to facilitate these people. We pay salaries. We pay salaries using your own taxpayers' money. And the unfortunate bit is that they now have the government that seems to be disempowered to fight, to help people access justice, is now empowering people in different fora. And the agenda of those empowerment programs, you'll find the whole deputy president, a professor of law, a colleague of mine, saying, Mimi noma siyo noma, Mimi fire siyo fire. As if to, that's what is abhorred under Chapter 6 of the Constitution, that you may have some leader who is drunk with power, akin to the ones already in power, and they seize every opportunity for self-aggrandizement. I don't think it is proper for any leader to come and tell us, yeye ni noma, yeye ni fire, and he's distributing money from taxpayers, from coffers. And in contrast, we have his interior minister, who is here telling us policemen are not properly facilitated to aid in protecting lives and property. I mean, that's paradoxical.
Yes. Gashane, what I see is that in a country where we struggle with access to justice, so many people can't access justice because of the bottlenecks of bribery and whatnot. So now when the CS tells people that you have to fuel this vehicle, does it mean then that a person who can't afford to offer even 100 shillings for the police, for the policemen, can't access justice?
A very good question, because you see, they have gone to the police because they want to be law-abiding citizens. Probably a thief has broken into their house and they cannot do what we call citizen arrest. They go to the police station and report that issue. Now you are told, weka gari mafuta ndio tuende huyo mwizi. If you don't have that money to fuel that car, that means the police will not come to get that particular thief. The only other avenue this person could have is going to Wakili Ndegwa. And Kiroko will open a file, So, is there justice to ordinary Kenyans?
And during the regime of President Ruto, Dr. Ruto, I forgot, Dr. Ruto and Professor Kidiki, I think justice is only on paper. If that's the new policy for the government, then Kenyans are left to retake their power. You see how power is structured in the current constitutional under the current constitutional regime. it is akin to what John Locke, and after him some gentleman by the name, I'm trying to get his name, the Baron de Montesquieu, structured that citizens have to surrender some of their rights, and the government is supposed to tax you so that they may be able to protect you and your property. Then citizens have, this is the recourse the citizen have, akin to what is envisioned in Article 37 of the Constitution, is a citizen can exercise their sovereignty directly under Article 1, because the government seems to have forgotten that their primary role is to protect these mwananchi, who, when he buys bread, there is some 10 shillings that goes to the government in form of taxes, so as to be able to just facilitate the basics of ensuring that if the police are supposed to take you to arrest a suspect, they will not need to hitch a ride or maybe to travel through the rudimentary means of transport, or to have those bottlenecks.
Yeah.
We have a whole government that seems to have reversed roles. They will tell us that they need to vaccinate our livestock, or so that they don't pollute the environment. Not that but at the same time, our environment is equally polluted by the corruption that the current minister seems to be literally endorsing.
Yeah.
That Kenyans are now on their own. This is just a government telling you of how incompetent they are, that they waliingia kwa hiyo kazi by way of they lied in their CV. Yeah.
You made a very important point about Kenyans exercising, their rights to direct
the sovereignty,
direct sovereignty. In Nepal, they exercised that right, and within 48 hours, they brought a government down.
Yes.
But at the cost of more than 70 people who were killed.
Yeah.
In Kenya, we saw that happen last year. Do you think if Kenya had gone all the way, we would be experiencing what happened in Nepal?
I think it was a lost opportunity for us. to the extent, it was a lot. I think we should have actually been the one to set the pace for Nepal. I say that with a lot of...
saying you support...
Yes, I support demonstrations.
The overthrow of a government.
Actually, the minister should be... The minister, the president, the deputy president, and all those cabals who are occupying those state offices should be decent enough to resign. I honestly believe Ruto in the next 2 years have nothing to offer Kenyans. His deputy president, other than exploring whether he still have a base or not, has nothing else to offer Kenyans. In that, and I'm saying that with a lot of caution, because I know those ones who are asking legitimate questions, when the Minister for Interior, as at that time, was showing off of how he was living a life of opulence against very high taxation, against complaints of high unemployment, against unfulfilled promises, against a failing health, health cover for the national health cover. And Kenyans were asking legitimate questions. What followed were mass killings, bodies emerging from everywhere. So, I think Kenyans ought to have really exercised their
I hear you, Akili, but the question is,
yes,
where is the line between sovereignty,
yes,
and using extra legal and or extra constitutional means to